This is K. Ankur, Civil Engineering Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So coming to today's session, now we are going to discuss about the fine aggregate. Okay. So in last class we have discussed about the cement properties and different types of cements. So in this session, I'm going to discuss about the fine aggregate. So here these are the different types of aggregates which are available in the market, right? So these are the coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and stone dust. Okay, so these all are the aggregates which we are going to use in a construction. So coming to the aggregates, so what do you mean by aggregates and how it is useful in the concrete, okay, and also in the construction. So here aggregates acts as a filler material for mortar and concrete. So these particular aggregates are going to use in a concrete material as a filler material. That means it is going to fill the volume of the components. Okay, and next aggregates gives body to the concrete. Okay, whatever the component we are going to cast for that particular component, it is going to give some body or shape to the component, right? So that is also one of the properties of the aggregates. And next, reduces shrinkage. Okay, so here this particular aggregates, by using this aggregates we can reduce the shrinkage effect. That means the reason behind this particular reduction of shrinkage is aggregates are solid materials, like solid materials. It is not having any pores inside the aggregates. Okay, major pores, so it will be a solid material, so that is why it cannot expand majorly. Okay, and it cannot shrink, right? So that is why we can reduce the shrinkage properties. Okay, and next, aggregates occupies 70 to 80 percentage of total volume of the concrete. So in concrete, while preparing the concrete, we are going to use different compositions, right? So here, coming to the composition, major proportions of the aggregates and cement and water. So majorly out of 100 percentage, 70 to 80 percentage will be used by the aggregates itself. Okay, remaining 30% will be your cement paste and the water content. Okay, so that is why, so the major proportion is from the aggregates, right? So that is why we have to study about the properties of these aggregates, because total around 70 to 80 percentage of the volume is occupied by the aggregates. So these properties are going to affect the concrete performance ultimately, right? So that is why we are going to perform the different types of tests on the aggregates to find out the different properties. Okay, so here, coming to the concrete, so we will be having three components, major components here. So first one is cement, okay, and next aggregates and water. So coming to the manufacturing process of these particular materials. So if you take cement, so cement is a factory made material. That means we are going to manufacture the cement in a factory by, for required properties. That means we are going to know the properties. Okay, whatever the properties we need, that properties we are going to produce in the factory, right? That means known properties. Okay, for cement we know the properties. What is the specific gravity? What is the fineness? Okay, so the properties we know, right? So that is why we have, it is a factory made material and we know the properties. But coming to the second component in the concrete, so aggregates. So aggregates are available naturally in the environment, right? So these are the naturally available materials, and the water is also naturally available material. So these particular two components, two materials, are naturally available material, and we are going to collect these particular materials from different sources. Okay, we are not going to get these particular materials in a single source. Okay, right? So we will be having different sources for different aggregates. So the sources will be different, and based upon the sources, okay, based upon the sources, the properties of the aggregates and water will be different, right? So that is why we have to study about the aggregate properties and water properties. Okay, if you are coming to the cement, so it is a factory made material, we know the properties. So almost the properties will be same as the factory made material, right? So but coming to the aggregates and water, here the properties are not same, because we are going to collect these aggregates from different sources. Okay, in one source the aggregate absorption percentage will be more, the moisture content will be more. So in one source the temperature will be more, so there the moisture content will be less. So here, depending upon the environment, the properties of the aggregates will be different. So that is why we have to know the properties, we have to test the properties of aggregates for each and every type of aggregates whenever you are collecting from the new source. Okay, so here, coming to the phases of concrete, so here we have two phases now. That is, first one is paste phase. Paste phase is nothing but here you will be getting cement and water. Okay, after mixing with the water, we will be getting some paste type material. So that is called as a paste phase. Okay, without considering the aggregates. Okay, and coming to the second phase, that is aggregate phase. Okay, so here aggregate phase is nothing but here we are going to have fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Okay, these are the aggregate phase materials and these are the paste phase materials. So in this cement and water, okay, by mixing these two materials, we are calling it as a paste phase material and the aggregate phase. That means only aggregates we are going to consider in this phase. So this is aggregate phase. So overall, we are going to call it as a concrete. Okay, this is based upon the phases, okay, paste phase and aggregate phase. So now we can study the aggregate properties by different testing methods. Okay, so here coming to the study of aggregates can be done by the following test. So the first one is classification. That means here we are going to study about the properties of aggregates in different patterns, like a classification. Okay, by classifying into the different types, we are going to call it as a different types of aggregates. And next, source. Based upon the source also, we are going to classify the aggregates. And next, size. Okay, shape. Okay, based upon the size and based upon the shape also, we are going to classify into different types. And strength, based upon the strength, high strength concrete. Okay, low strength concrete, low strength aggregates. Okay, like this we are going to categorize into different classifications. Okay, next, bulk density. Okay, based upon the density also. And next, moisture content, cleanliness. Okay, and next, soundness, whether it is good or not. That means whether the properties are good or not. Okay, next, durability, and next, sieve analysis and grading. Okay, by considering these all the properties, we are going to classify into different types of aggregates. Okay, so coming to the classification of aggregate, the first one. So by this also we can study about the aggregates. Okay, the first one, aggregates. So here, based upon the weight. Okay, based upon the weight, we are going to categorize into three portions here. The first one is normal weight aggregate. Okay, this is the normal aggregate. Majorly we are going to use this type of aggregates. Okay, that is normal weight aggregate. So this is based upon the geological origin. Okay, and next, coming to the second type of aggregate, lightweight aggregate. Okay, the weight of the aggregate will be less compared to normal weight aggregate. Okay, and next, heavyweight aggregates. Okay, so these three classifications will be done based upon the weight. Okay, and coming to the normal weight aggregates, so majorly in construction we are going to use these aggregates, normal weight aggregates. But if you need any specific properties, okay, if you want to improve the properties specifically, then we are going with these two aggregates. Okay, so this is an average type of aggregate we are going to use in the construction. So coming to that is why we are going to study about these aggregates only now. Okay, so coming to the normal weight aggregates here, first one is, again, it is classified into two types: natural aggregates and artificial aggregates. Okay, these are the two different types of aggregates from the normal weight aggregates. Okay, so coming to the natural aggregates, so how we are getting these aggregates? Okay, these aggregates are collected, or else we are getting these aggregates from the crushing of natural stones. Okay, so crushing from the quarries of igneous rocks. Okay, we have different types of aggregates, right? Actually, we have gone through this topic in the previous sessions. Okay, so this is the igneous rock and sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. So by crushing these three types of stones, we are going to get the aggregates. So the particular aggregate is called as a crushed stone. Okay, so, and second one is gravels. Okay, gravels, sand formed by the natural agencies. Okay, you can observe the gravels in rivers. Okay, sand is also we are going to get from the rivers, right? So these aggregates, okay, these gravels and sand will be collected from the naturally formed sources, that is natural agencies like wind or else rain. Rain effect. Okay, through wind effect, the stones will be disintegrated into small portions, small pieces, right? So from there we are going to get the gravels and sand. Okay, so examples for the natural aggregates are crushed rock or else crushed stone. Okay, so these particular crushed rock will be obtained from the granite, quartzite, basalt and sandstone. Okay, these are some of the examples for the igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks. Okay, so from these stones we are going to crush the stones and we are getting some small pieces of stones, that is called as the aggregate. Okay, that is natural aggregate. And next, sand and gravel is also one of the examples for the natural aggregates. Okay, and next, coming to the artificial aggregates. Okay, artificially means we are going to do some processing from the naturally available materials or some by adding different raw materials. So here coming to the first one, broken brick. Okay, broken brick is nothing but it is also called as a brick bats. So in this picture you can observe the broken bricks or else brick bats. So broken brick is nothing but, so we will be having bricks, right? Okay, it is naturally, I mean, we are going to manufacture this particular brick into definite shape, right? So while casting, okay, while in construction, while casting or while placing these particular bricks, that brick may be broken into some pieces, small pieces, okay, while placing or else while transporting. So that broken pieces will be called as a brick bats. Okay, and these brick bats are going to use, I mean, we are going to use this particular brick bats in a construction as a foundations, okay, or else as a filler material. Okay, so here these particular brick bats will be useful or else suitable for the mass concreting. That means if you have very large size of components, so there we can use this particular brick bats. Okay, and next examples are foundation. Okay, where we are going to use mass concreting in foundations, majorly in foundations or else basements. Okay, so here we are going to use this particular mass concreting, right? So there we can use this particular brick bats, okay, for laying of foundations or else bases. Okay, examples are foundations and bases. Okay, and here we have to note down one point here. We are not going to use this particular brick bats for RC works, that means reinforced concrete works. Okay, so these particular brick bats are useful in the mass concreting where we are going to cast foundations or else bases. Suppose if you take terrace areas, okay, in terrace areas for laying some base layer, we can use this particular brick bats also. Okay, before preparing the outer surface. Okay, I mean, we are going to use cement concrete layer, right, as a terrace surface material. So before that particular layer, we can use this particular brick bats as a filler material. Okay, so this will be useful in the foundation and bases. Okay, and next coming to the second type of artificial aggregates here, blast furnace slag aggregate. Okay, so you know that, right? Blast furnace slag, it is a waste material which is obtained during the manufacturing of metals, right? So this particular slag, whatever the slag we are getting, that will be cooled slowly, very slowly, and that will be converted into small aggregates. Okay, so obtained by slow cooling of slag followed by crushing. Okay, by cooling the slag material very slowly. Okay, and then we are going to crush that particular slag material into small pieces, and that will be used as an aggregate in a construction. Okay, and it is having good fire resisting property. Okay, this particular slag material, because after burning the metals, okay, we are getting this particular slag material, right? So that is why it is having more fire resistance. Okay, because it is already applied with it is already subjected to high temperatures. So that is why if you apply very low temperatures also later on while construction, it is not a major problem for this. Okay, and it is having good fire resisting property. Okay, and next it causes corrosion of reinforcement due to sulfur content of slag. So in slag material we will be having some sulfur content, right? So that particular sulfur content will be affecting the reinforcement in terms of corrosion. Okay, so because of this particular usage of blast furnace slag aggregate, it will be affecting the reinforcement in terms of corrosion. Okay, and next one is, I'll show you the picture of this particular blast furnace slag aggregate in next slide. Okay, and next, sintered fly ash aggregate. Okay, this will be manufactured from the fly ash. Okay, and next, bloated aggregates. Okay, that means expanded clay or shale. Okay, by using clays also, by applying air content. Okay, by aeration process, we are going to manufacture some aggregates. Okay, those aggregates are called as a bloated aggregates. Okay, examples are like expanded clay or shale. Okay, by using these two clay materials, we are going to manufacture this bloated aggregates. Okay, so these are the brick bats which we are going to use as aggregates in our foundations. Okay, as a filler materials. Okay, and this is the terrace place. Okay, in terrace they are using this particular brick bats as a base layer. Okay, here in this picture you can observe the function of this particular brick bats. Okay, and coming to the slag aggregates. Okay, blast furnace slag aggregates. These are the blast furnace slag aggregates which we are going to use in a construction. Okay, and these are the sintered fly ash aggregates. Okay, fly ash aggregates. By using fly ash, we are going to manufacture these particular aggregates. Okay, and next, bloated clay aggregates. Okay, by using clay, okay, by applying some air content, by bloating, we are going to manufacture these particular aggregates, and these are the very light aggregates. Okay, so these are the different types of artificial aggregates. Okay, so coming, just I will rewind these particular artificial aggregates. First one is broken aggregates, blast furnace slag aggregates, and sintered fly ash aggregates, and next bloated aggregates. Okay, next, coming to the next classification, based upon the size also we have different types of aggregates. So before going to the classification, why we are going to consider this particular size? Okay, what is the major purpose of size of the aggregates? Okay, so coming to the first one, here the maximum size of aggregates for concrete is 80 mm. So here, while manufacturing concrete, we are going to use up to 80 mm size only. Okay, majorly. Okay, and next, usage of maximum size aggregate will result in, okay, if you use maximum size of aggregates, what it is going to affect, which properties are going to affect. Okay, so here coming to the first one, reduction of cement content. If you use higher aggregate size, then because of that, here we can reduce the cement content, because suppose if this is your concrete component, okay, if you use less aggregates, then what is happening? So these are the aggregates which we are going to use in a casting of concrete, and remaining this all portion will be with the cement, right? So if you use more aggregates, okay, if you use more aggregates, then the major portion will be filled by the aggregates itself, right? So if you use more aggregates in concrete, then what is happening here? Indirectly, we are going to reduce the cement content here. See, if you look at this particular diagram, here the cement content is more, but here the cement content is less. So what is the need? What is the major effect if you use less amount of cement? So here in concrete, the major failures will be getting from the cement itself, because the cement is a paste material. It is going to shrink if you add water, okay, or else during the curing period, or else during the evaporation process, the moisture content which is present inside the cement paste will be evaporated, and it is going to affect the strength of the concrete, right? So that is why here, if the cement content is less, then we can reduce the failures, right? So that is why it is going to, here we can reduce the cement content if you use the aggregates. Okay, and next, reduction in water requirement. So this is also from the first point we can correlate with this particular property. Okay, if you reduce the cement content, then ultimately the water content is also reduced, right? That means why we are adding this particular water content, to get the binding from the cement, right? So that is why if you reduce the cement content, the water content is also reduced. Okay, and next, reduction of drying shrinkage. Okay, as we have already discussed, drying shrinkage is nothing but after casting the cement concrete, okay, immediately it will be having some moisture content inside the cement paste, right? So while the curing period, while the moisture is evaporated, okay, whenever the moisture is evaporating, at that point the moisture is evaporated and it is going to shrink the cement paste. Okay, during that shrinkage process, the overall concrete member will be affected. You may get the cracks inside the member. Okay, so we can reduce the shrinkage effect also. Okay, if you use more amount of aggregates, because the major shrinkage will be getting from the cement paste itself. Okay, we are going to reduce the cement paste and we are going to use aggregates. Okay, and next, maximum size of aggregate usage is limited by following conditions. Okay, so here in the first factor we are going to we have discussed about the maximum size. Okay, what are the different factors which are affecting due to the maximum size? And now, maximum size aggregate usage limited by the following conditions. That means, depending upon the component and depending upon the materials, we are going to limit the size of the aggregates. Okay, now we are going to discuss about that. So coming to the first one, thickness of the section. Okay, suppose if this is your component where we are going to cast in a construction, so if this thickness is only about 20 mm, okay, the thickness of the member or else component is around only 20 mm, but you are going to use 40 mm aggregates. So where we can place the particular 40 mm aggregate? So that is why we are going to consider the section of the thickness, section of the component. Okay, whatever the component we are placing, that section is also very important. Based upon this section size or else thickness, we are going to use the maximum size of the aggregates. So here the size of the thickness is and the size of this section is 20 mm. So here we have to use below 20 mm aggregates only. Okay, so that is why we are going to consider thickness of the section while using the aggregates. Okay, now coming to the spacing of reinforcement. So if you observe this particular picture here, the spacing, this particular reinforcement, okay, in between these particular two reinforcement we have around 20 mm or else 30 mm space. Okay, depending upon this space we have to use the aggregate size. Okay, and next one, clear cover. Okay, this is also we can observe in the next slide. So this is the clear cover. So after placing the reinforcement here in the member, so you will be having the outer surface of the concrete member, right? So here this is the outer surface and this is the reinforcement. So here the clear cover is nothing but the gap between the outer surface of the reinforcement and to the surface of the component. That means the concrete component. Okay, here this is the concrete component surface and this is your surface of the reinforcement. So the gap between these particular two members, two surfaces, is called as a clear cover. Okay, that will be separated by this member. Okay, clear cover to differentiate the gap. Okay, so this particular gap is called as a clear cover here. Okay, so based upon this clear cover also we are going to use particular size of aggregates here. Okay, and next one, mixing, handling and placing techniques. Okay, depending upon the mixing methods. Okay, mixing equipment and handling equipments, based upon that we are going to use different sizes of aggregates. And next one, placing techniques. Okay, placing techniques is also very important. Okay, while considering the aggregate size here. Okay, and next one, based upon the size. Okay, based upon the size we are going to classify into different types. Okay, coming to the first one, coarse aggregate. Okay, coarse aggregate, and the second one is fine aggregate. So coming to the coarse aggregate, so how we can define or else how we can differentiate these two types of aggregates. Okay, based upon size, that is, if you have the aggregate size more than 4.75 mm, that is millimeters, then it will be categorized into coarse aggregate. Okay, so whatever the aggregate size you have that is more than 4.75 mm, then that will be classified into coarse aggregate. Okay, and coming to the fine aggregate, the size of the aggregate will be equals to or less than the 4.75. Okay, so in this type of fine aggregates, the maximum size of the aggregate will be around 4.75. Okay, and less than 4.75 is considered as a fine aggregate. Okay, whatever the aggregates you have, that size will be less than or equal to 4.75 only. Okay, so this is the major difference between the coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. Okay, if you have the aggregate size more than 4.75, then it is called as a coarse aggregate. So in this particular coarse aggregate, we are not going to consider the 4.75 mm size aggregates. Okay, whatever the aggregate is more than 4.75, that will be classified into coarse aggregate. And coming to the fine aggregate, it is less than or equal to 4.75 millimeters. Okay, and next difference is maximum size of aggregates is 80 mm. Okay, in this particular coarse aggregate, the maximum size is around 80 mm. Okay, and coming to the fine aggregate, here the minimum size. Okay, here maximum size is already defined in the first point, that is 4.75 in the fine aggregate. But coming to the minimum size, that is 0.06 millimeters. Okay, or else 600 microns. Okay, it is called as a fine aggregate. And next, for reinforced sections, maximum size of coarse aggregate will be equals to the 5 mm less than clear cover. Okay, in earlier picture I have already shown this clear cover, right? Suppose if you have, this is the clear cover. Okay, if you have around 20 mm, okay, if your clear cover is around 20 mm, then here we are going to take the coarse aggregate less than or equal to 5 mm. That means if you have 20 mm aggregates, then we have to take around 15 mm aggregates only. Okay, so 5 mm difference you can maintain. Okay, but depending upon the maximum size, here we can take less than, somewhat less size, that is 5 mm. Okay, that is coming to the maximum size of the coarse aggregate. And next, here the fine aggregates will be divided into two types again, natural and artificial, and the size is also different here. Fine aggregate and medium fine aggregate and coarse fine aggregate. So here also this particular fine aggregate, that is sand, will be divided into three types, that is fine sand, medium sand and coarse sand. Okay, the dimensions of this particular three sands will be defined in the later classes. Okay, and here coming to the sand properties, here it is a inorganic material. So here majorly we are going to discuss about the fine aggregate in this particular subject. Okay, so here coming to the sand, that is fine aggregate. Okay, fine aggregate will be having a different properties. Okay, coming to the first one, it is a inorganic material. Okay, it is a inorganic material. That means it is not going to react with the other materials like cement and water. Okay, it can absorb water, but it is not going to react and it is not going to change the properties of the fine aggregate here. Okay, that is why it is called as a inorganic material, and it consists of angular and rounded grains of silica. That means the size or else shape of this particular sand or fine aggregate will be angular. Okay, that means it angular is nothing but it is having a sharp edges. Okay, it is having angular shape or rounded grains. Okay, rounded shape grains. Okay, that is silica grains. Okay, majorly sand will be consisting of silica material, right? So it is having angular or rounded shape aggregates or its grains. Okay, and next, formed due to the decomposition of sandstone due to weathering agencies. Okay, so here this particular fine aggregate, so from where we are getting this fine aggregate, this will be available from the decomposition of different stones, sandstones, that is sedimentary stone, right? So one of the examples for sedimentary stone, I mean sandstone is sedimentary stones. Okay, so this stone will be subjected to different weathering agencies like wind effect or else rain effects. Okay, by applying the, I mean with the application of those forces like wind force or else rain water force, that particular stone will be disintegrated or else it will be broken into small pieces. Okay, so from that we are getting this particular fine aggregate. Okay, and next one is when the aggregate is sieved through 4.75 mm. Okay, whenever you are going to sieve the aggregates from the 4.75 mm, so whatever the aggregates passed from this particular sieve, that is 4.75 aggregate, is called as a fine aggregate. Okay, if you want to define this particular fine aggregate based upon this sieve or else sieve size, you can define like this. Okay, when you sieve the aggregates from the 4.75 mm sieve, the aggregate which is formed, I mean which is passed from this particular aggregates is called as a fine aggregate here. Okay, so here coming to the one of the variations in the sand. Okay, basically in sand we have different types of sands, right? Again, coarse sand, medium sand and fine sand. Okay, how we can define this and what is the size variation for this particular three sands? Okay, so here in first column I have mentioned the fine aggregate with the different names like coarse sand, medium sand and fine sand. Okay, and here coming to the right column, size variation. Okay, from coarse sand to medium sand. Okay, we can allow this particular fine aggregate with the different size variations. Okay, the first one is 2 mm to 0.5 mm. Okay, so if you have more than 2 mm difference also, we can allow this particular coarse sand. And coming to the medium sand, it will be around 0.5 mm to 0.25 mm. Okay, this is your medium sand classification depending upon the size variation. And next, fine sand. Coming to the fine sand, it will be around 0.25 mm to 0.06 mm. Okay, this is not the exact size, this is the size variation in the three different types of sands. Okay, and coming to the characteristics of good sand. Okay, whenever you are going to collect the sand from the different sources, it should have following properties. Okay, it should maintain this particular properties, so then only it is called as a good sand or else good fine aggregate. Okay, coming to the first property. Okay, it should consist of coarse, sharp, angular and hard grains. Okay, whenever you are going to collect sand sample from the different sources, first we have to check the size or else shape of the aggregates that will be having coarse aggregates. Okay, the size should be coarse. Okay, and the sharp angular edges. Okay, the shape of the aggregate should be sharp and angular. Okay, and next, hard grains. That means it should be a solid material, it should have some strength. Okay, that is the first property we are going to check after collecting the fine aggregate here. Okay, and next one, grain must be clean and free from clay. Okay, that means clean means here it should not contain any clay material around the surface of the fine aggregate. Okay, so that is the second property, because if you have any clay material, that is going to react with the cement after adding the water. Okay, in a construction. So that is why we are going to take clean sand while casting the members. Okay, and next, free from the organic material. That means organic material is nothing but here we'll be having some leaves or else some other organic materials, okay, like leaves or else any trees, okay. So we should clean the particular sand or else fine aggregate from the organic materials, okay. And next one, free from the chemicals, okay. If you have any chemical solution around the particular sources, then we should check about the chemicals also, okay. And next one, strong and durable, okay. It should have high strength and it should have some durability. That means it should give service to the user for longer times, okay. It should not fail in very short time, okay. That is what the fifth point or its fifth property. And next one, grains should be well graded for good workability and strength. Well graded is nothing but it should have all the shapes of aggregate. That means angular and circular, okay, circular aggregates, okay. You should not have same type of aggregates in this particular fine aggregate, okay. You should have two types or else three types of shapes, that is angular and round particles, okay, round shape aggregates also. So if you use this particular different shapes of aggregates, then the workability will be good, okay. And next, fineness modulus should be 2 to 3. That means the fineness modulus is something, but here we are going to learn about this particular test in the coming classes, okay. So here fineness modulus should be 2 to 3. So here this 2 and 3 is nothing but it is a number, it is an index number of fineness modulus, and it is going to represent the average size of the aggregates in the particular sample, okay. Here fineness modulus is something but by using this particular test we are going to define the average size, okay. From different sources we are going to collect the different sample of aggregates, right. So in this particular sample we will be having different sizes of aggregates. So now we want to define the average size, okay. That average size will be defined by using this fineness modulus test, okay. That number should be 2 to 3 for fine aggregates only, okay. This is not for the coarse aggregate, no. This is for fine aggregate only, okay. And coming to the next property, free from the dust, okay. So it should be free from the dust also, okay. And next one, uniform color, okay. This is also one of the major property we are going to check after collecting the fine aggregate, okay. So it should have uniform color, okay. It should not have any different colors, like it should be having some source, some, if you collect the fine aggregate from some different sources, it will be having brown color, okay. And some fine aggregates will be having golden color, okay. And some aggregates will be having some cream color materials. So it should not have different colors, okay. It should maintain same color, single color, if you use in a single construction, okay. So these are the different characteristics of good sand. So this is the current session. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.